Individual developers and Salesforce administrators can update their user stories here. When they come to this interface, they will see the sprints that they're involved in over here at left. They can select any sprint, and they'll see the user stories that have been assigned to them in the center column. They can select any story, and various editing options are available over here at right. Now, the basic idea of a user story is that you're going to add manual setup tasks to the story that need to be completed before deployment. Then you add the actual metadata assets that need to be a part of your story and any assets that you need to delete in your story. And after that, you create manual setup tasks that need to be completed after deployment. When you've taken all of those steps, you can update your user story and it makes a permanent collaborative copy of the story. Let's go through that process. So first you select a story that you want to update. Then you select any before deployment tasks that need to be completed. Over here at left is a permanent list of task templates that are globally available to your team. You can edit these task templates with a menu here at right. So for example, each template has a category, it has a name, it has written instructions of what needs to be completed, it has an owner, and you can also add a command line to every template that is run and has to complete successfully for the task to be completed. You can also select a source or Salesforce browser that you want to launch, and this is good for manual setup menu completion items. You take these templates and you can move them into the middle list, which makes them a part of the story. You can control the order of operations, and you can also customize the actual tasks that you've selected with this menu over here at right. So for example, we could change the instructions or change the name after we use the template. All right, so this assembles a list of before deployment tasks that need to be completed. Next, we would go to the Create Assets tab and select any assets that we needed to include in our user story, just like that. And you notice over here at right, some of the assets are in black, but other assets are in red. The assets in red, if you bring your tooltip over, you'll see this shows overlap awareness. These assets are being used by other team members in their user stories. And so you'll actually see the name of the person, their email address, and the user story that they're using the asset in. So this might be carefully planned. It might be something that you weren't aware of, so you can reach out to those team members as necessary. Next, you assemble any assets that need to be deleted as part of your user story. And lastly, you have the after deployment tasks. And these are various things that need to be completed after the deployment process. For example, user acceptance testing or other institutional tasks that you need to complete. When you've done all of that, you can then update your user story. And this writes a permanent copy of your story into the Cascade installation org, and now other team members have access to the story for deployment and for other uses. When you're all done with a story, on the first tab here, you can make a pull request. And what this does is it moves the selected user story into the deployment stage and notifies the sprint owner by email. So let's do that. And just like that, I've completed my user story. I've added before and after deployment tasks. I've added actual metadata assets to the story. And now I've made a pull request and it's come up now on the radar of the sprint owner. All right. Thank you very much. That's a brief movie about updating user stories.